Welcome to the True Core Crew podcast, where we discuss everything health and fitness, giving you the tools and tips to not only build, but live your best life, body, mind, and spirit. Thanks for joining us. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Shannon Logan, and I am the owner of True Core in Annapolis, Maryland. And I am here today with a guest co-host, my head coach, Miss Joanna King. Happy Thursday, Joanna.
Happy Thursday, Shannon. How's it going?
It's going. How are you, sweetheart?
I'm good. It's warmer today. That makes me happy.
It is. It is. So we are recording this on February 17th, 2022. And currently in Annapolis, Maryland, it is 66 degrees, which is like fantastic.
I'm going to take that.
Saturday is going to be 41.
Why you going to ruin the time, Shannon?
Go home, Maryland. You're drunk. You don't know what season it is.
Yeah.
But so I was on vacation last week, so I missed our wonderful Facebook Live training and discussion, as well as our podcast. So I wanted to come on this week and make sure to get caught up, but also like talk about a subject matter that oftentimes people under the age of 50 don't want to think about. And that is how they're going to feel trying to get off the toilet when they have reached the last third of their life. How do you feel, Joanna, when you think about functional movement patterns when you're 60 years old and older?
It's actually funny because people would say, why'd you train? I'd be like, for vanity. And then once I hit 33, I was like, I want to get off the toilet on my own when I'm older. So it's definitely there, not at the front, but at the back. You know, I would like to be able to do it on my own and be able to do the things like camera groceries, etc. on my own. So this is a good topic. I think that, hopefully for me, it's going to come later rather than sooner, but we'll see.
Yeah.
As it happens.
I'm in the same spot as you in terms of like, I used to train to compete more so, right? To like see how far I could go. And then just through life and owning a business and having a family and all that kind of stuff. Now I train so that I can be as active and enjoy my life as possible. And I'll call a spade a spade. I also want to look good naked. I'm not going to lie. I don't mind that either. But my end goal now is like you, like I want to be as independent in my life for as long as possible. And that looks like being able to get off the floor on my own so I can play with my grandkids, being able to get off the toilet on my own for as long as possible, getting in and out of the car so I can get out of the house, all of these things that people oftentimes don't stop and think about is just what real functional fitness is. So we can go into a big gym and do like bicep curls and tricep extensions all day long and leg extensions. But how often in your day-to-day life, Joanna, do you do a leg extension from a like functional standpoint? Like how often do you have to bend down and extend your leg just from the knee out?
Not, on an average day, probably 0 times. In an average year, 0 times unless I'm in a Globo gym.
Yeah. So multi-joint, right? Multi-body part, is how we function as human beings through our life. So we spent a lot of time working with our clients on squatting. It was one of the most basic things, but we tend to find that the majority of people, when they first start to work with us, squat wrong. And they're all on their toes and their knees track forward and they don't send their head back. And they're just wearing that knee joint out. And that's how a lot of people exist these days. And so like we spent a lot of time just talking about the basic air squat. Because if someone comes in for an intro session with me and I do an air squat with them and I teach them how to air squat, I always say, I don't care if you join my gym or not, but learn this air squat with me today because it's going to help you stay functional the rest of your life. Every time you get on and off the toilet, in and out of the car, and it's going to save your knees. So
Mhm.
like the knee joint's built to last over 110 years. I think the joint itself is around like 120 years old. It's supposed to last till, with all the lubrication and cartilage. But a lot of us move wrong. And if we squat all day long, every time we sit to stand, we squat wrong. It's no wonder that people have to have a knee replacement at 65.
Mhm. And they're actually becoming more common.
Very.
It used to be the hip was the most common, and now I think, we hear more about knees, or at least 50-50 for sure.
And it's starting to happen sooner. Like I know people that have had a knee replacement at like 55, 60, and
Yeah.
now they have to have another one like 10 to 15 years later because they're still alive. Thank you, Lord. But they've worn out the fake one because, it's only built to last, I think, 15 years.
Yeah.
So air squatting within itself, it's something that we drill in. I mean, we do strength from a squat standpoint, right? Like back squat and front squat, but we do the air squat all the time in warm-ups, and metcons or in workouts. And that's just a very functional movement. Is every human being should know how to send their hip back and sit down into their heels so their glutes turn on, which is how to squat, and then stand back up again.
I mean, I think that also it's a common movement where we forget how much we dial back away from squatting as we get older. We're not as mobile just in general. But I think that, like you said, like there's certain movements that we can do through squatting. I mean, the opportunities are endless. You've got barbell, you've got dumbbell, you've got body weight. Compared to a leg press in a Globo gym or back, hamstring, like identifying movements completely solely for that one muscle. And as someone who's experienced their parent coming in the last 4 or 5 months, who did a month with TrueCore, who learned the fundamentals and now has taken it back to the UK. And she's commented, so my mom did 200 kilometers in the month of January and 1 week of February, combined of walking and swimming, because walking and swimming, because she felt so much better after doing these functional movements that then allowed her to live a better life. So and she's a grandma.
Yeah,
she has grandchildren.
Not yours, but she's got grandchildren.
No, she has granddogs for me.
That's true. Yes, for all of you guys that haven't picked up on it yet, Joanna might be a foreigner. She may not be born and bred here in the United States. However, she's now one of us. So we welcome her with open arms with the British accent that she's got.
Yeah. Yep.
So if nothing else, reach out to learn how to squat, because that will save you so much pain, so much uncomfortability, and it will let you be as functional from a sit to stand standpoint for the rest of your life. Now, something that I've come to know now, because I have a 1-year-old, and she's started off not being able to move, and now she's on the ground crawling and about to walk. And I get down on the ground with her all the time, and I get back up, and it's not a problem. But she's got 2 sets of grandparents, and so I've also watched that start to happen in terms of, oh, wait a second, like it's a good idea if people know how to get back up off the ground as we start to age as well. Like that's a movement pattern that I take for granted, because I just get down, I get back up. But can take a lot of work, actually, when you stop and think about it. Falling on the ground and getting back up. What movement do you think that is, Joe, that we do often in our
Someone's favorite movement?
Which would be?
It actually is one of my favorite movements. It, like, true honesty, burpee.
The burpee. Yeah. So fall down on the ground, get back up pretty much as quickly as you can. It's a lot more graceful than that, how we do it. Like, I don't want you to fall on the ground on your back and then like roll over and get back up. But I was talking to Ryan Walker's father a couple months ago, who is just an awesome guy, and he's extremely fit. You know, I don't know how old he is. I think he's plus 60. And if he's not, I apologize, Mr. Walker. But awesome guy. He'll come in and train with us. He does events with us. He's just really cool. And he talked exactly about that. He goes, you know, like, I want to be able to do burpees for the rest of my life, because all a burpee is falling down on the ground and getting back up. And how many of us have had grandparents or parents at this point, you know, who fall, and unfortunately it's a big event, you know, they can't get back up, or they're by themselves at home, and they fall and they break a bone, and it takes, you know, time for someone to get to them. And so again, trying to stay as functional as possible for as long as possible comes if you stay with movement. Like, you oftentimes people retire. I can't wait to retire someday. And once they retire, they just kind of have a much more low-key life, and that includes how often they move their body. And so you see like weakness start to creep in, they lose some strength, and simple tasks start to become harder, like getting off the floor.
Mm-hmm.
How many burpees can you do in a minute, Joanna?
I don't know. Are we talking real burpees or cheating burpees?
What's a cheating burpee?
Not fully extended at the top.
No, we're talking real
Chest
burpees.
to the deck.
We
I
don't
can do fake burpees.
We don't cheat in my environment, Miss King.
Not anymore. I don't cheat anymore.
Oh, Lord, help us.
I don't know. I probably want to test it. Next time we're both at the gym, I'm going to test it, because I haven't tested it in a while.
You're shorter than me, so you have an advantage.
I would hope I could do over 30.
In a minute?
25.
That is fast, girl. You're moving if you get 25 in a minute with a full chest to deck.
I would try my money on it.
I'm okay. When I see you next, we're throwing down. And then I'm going to post on this video afterwards and say, haha, Joanna only got 18.
If I get between 20 to 25, I would be a happy chappy.
All right. So squatting, burpees, something people forget about is basic strength training. So as a female, I know that we're told a lot about like bone density post-menopausal, and how important it is to strength train beforehand to help have as much bone density as possible. But it is also almost as important to train afterwards, and for all genders, men and female, as we age, to continue strength training to help with that bone density. Because the only things that are going to kind of impact or improve bone density are strength training, because of the way it pulls on the actual bone and gets stronger at that pull site, and then like impact work. So if you jump and land a lot, like running, but a lot of people don't want to do a ton of impact work as they age, which is completely understandable. It's not great to do a ton of impact work in general. So adding in a strength part to it will help people not only get stronger so they can support themselves in space as they walk up and down steps, in and out of the car, pick things up, etc., but also increase that bone density. So God forbid, if they do fall, they're less likely to have a break of some kind. My aunt, I don't know if she might hear this because she's on our crew. She's been in TrueCore quite a bit, worked with Ryan Walker a while ago. Well, let's see, how old is she? So my mom is like a little bit older than 65. So she's probably pushing 70, my aunt. And she just fell down some stairs like a week and a half ago and broke her wrist, you know? And if I fell down some stairs, I'd be afraid that I would break my wrist. So having some kind of routine where you get some strength training in is essential for just overall health, as we age, but also right now as well. For me right now, being here as a 35, 36-year-old.
Did you just give yourself an extra year?
Yeah, I did.
Or did you give yourself less and then realize, and then was like, actually, in case of any?
Yeah,
And
this 36 is hitting me hard.
okay, I celebrated 32 twice until my best friend told me so. But I was like, I'm just rocking 32 twice. 32 first time around, most of it. No.
Well, like think of the athletes we have at TrueCore, the clients, members we have at TrueCore that are plus 55, strength training and crushing it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think what's also becoming more common is within the society that we're now in, it's becoming far more friendly for the older generation to be seen to be doing weight training. Take us back 5, 10, 15 years. It was like you got to a certain age in life and it was like, whoa, eat there with the weight training. Whereas now, the education has grown. So
yeah, no, that's a really good
acceptance,
yeah.
And as people, I think in a lot of ways, it's much easier for someone to come in and do a strength workout in a very controlled environment than if someone said, okay, go for a run. There's a lot of factors outside of what can go wrong, so I think in some ways it's actually safer for people to get their strength training, or to help increase their bone density through strength training than it is through a run or something like that. Especially to chat to people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and with running too, like overuse is so common.
Mm-hmm.
So common.
Sure.
But I mean, we've got Dawn Powell, Dean Powell, Scott Obishi, Robert Hall, Liz, I'm going to butcher her last name, Paulson, I believe. Just a couple off the top of my head that are past that 55 mark.
I might flick my ear, but Anne Warfield too.
And well, I wasn't sure where she was on that border. But I mean, to say they're functional is an understatement. They're running circles around their peers, and it's possible. And I love the point that you said regarding like perspective, how probably 20 years ago it would have been seen as like, oh, don't do that, that's unsafe. And now it's actually being prescribed by doctors to, hey, like you need to go find a personal trainer or a gym and get some strength training in to really kind of help with these things.
Sure.
So reach out about or find out or work on, you can email me, you can message me on Facebook, Shannon Logan, email me at shannon@truecorecoaching.com. Make sure you find out how to properly squat. That is essential for your joints, essential for your freedom and independence as we age. Burpee as well. You can find a simple YouTube on that. I would get an actual human being to watch you squat though, and help you, give you pointers instead of just like a YouTube with that, because it's hard to watch a YouTube and then do a squat where you got 3 joints happening and where your weight is in your feet and that kind of stuff. But then also strength training. So you can reach out to me here on Facebook or my email that I gave. Joe, where can people find you if they have thoughts, questions, feedback, requests?
A lot of the time I'm at TrueCore CrossFit in Annapolis, or you can email me at joanna@truecorecoaching.com.
Excellent. Thank you. And anything to add before we wrap up, Joe?
Just keep putting one foot in front of the other. Make today better than yesterday.
Make today better than yesterday. And I don't know about you, but I want to live my best life for as long as possible. So I want to see Cora's grandkids and be able to get down on the floor with them. And if you guys don't know, Cora is the name of my daughter. So she just turned a year. So I've got a lot of activity to maintain between now and the time she's got grandbabies.
Yeah.
Yeah. You too, Joe. You got to be catching up with her. She's about to start running. I think she's going to go from walk to run very, very quickly. So.
Well, my godchild just swam today for her first time on her own across. And she's like, she's just turning 3 in April. So she's doing well. So I'll be needing to keep up with her in the summer months at the pool. So.
You know it. Well, thank you for your time, everyone. Until next time, have a fantastic day. live your best life, build your best life, dream your best life, and then go get it. Have a great one, guys.
Thanks so much for joining us today. Interested in learning more? Join our free Facebook group, Annapolis Health, Fitness, Nutrition, and Mindset, where we give out resources every week and even have live trainings on helping you live your best life. Hope to see you there.